Welcome to Agri-Truth, where we will be diving into intriguing conversations about the role, the future, and the power of our young generation in addressing the issue of food security. Welcome to Episode 3, Government Policies, Engagement, and Collaboration. I am your host, Hazel Nyukabi, and today I am joined by a remarkable guest who has a unique blend of legal expertise, being a fourth-year law student, and hands-on experience in farming, and he will be providing us with insights on the intersection between the youth, law, and agriculture. Mr. Kokonya, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's just dive right into the questions. Could you share some insights into some of the existing policies, incentives, and initiatives that are currently in place to promote youth engagement in agriculture and especially in the cause of food security?
The policies currently in place promote agriculture as a whole, and they have taken a holistic approach on agriculture in terms of engaging farmers generally as opposed to the youth specifically. And one such policy is the Agricultural Sector Transformation and Growth Strategy, which was enacted in 2019. It is a 10-year long strategy, which envisions farmers coming into groups to form associations and societies. And this policy envisions having credit facilities and loan facilities extended to farmers in these groups, so that it can, these incentives look towards promoting agriculture generally and food security in the country. And also some of the other incentives are like subsidies that are being introduced on fertilizers, farm equipment, and other farm chemicals that would be needed by the farmers. So basically the approach has been holistic in terms of agriculture and not focused towards the youth specifically.
Okay, so as you went on, you mentioned a few things such as financial incentives, and from the previous episodes, of course, the young people mentioned that their situations such as finances, of course, the availability of markets, the availability of land, because young people at this stage cannot be able to own land. So is there a potential for policy amendments and new implementations that can address some of these solutions that young people are calling out for in strengthening market linkages, renting, or utilizing unclaimed and available maybe government land?
There is indeed a potential for policy amendment and regulations to promote youth into getting into agriculture and farming for food security. And one of the areas that needs to be amended, and with regards to the land, as you said, most of the there is government land that is idle. There is government land that is not being used. And as it stands now, there are no policies that directly allow young people or even farmers generally to acquire this land and use it for agricultural productivity. So policies need to be enacted to basically allow youth and young farmers to acquire this land for the period that it's not being used by the government and use it for agricultural productivity.
So how would you envision a manner in which the government can, realistically address these challenges and seize the opportunity to help the youth in addressing food security?
The challenge for food security actually can be addressed, and at the same time it can be addressed with the challenge for unemployment, in that now agriculture becomes an alternative for formal employment for the youth, and the government can do this by getting into private and public partnerships. This is basically engaging private firms that have established themselves in terms of agriculture to have youth workshops and to have subsidies in terms of seeds and equipment and fertilizer, and also to provide these spaces, because land is one of the major factors of production, and now land is one of the major challenges that the youth face when it comes to agriculture. So once they engage these private entities, then it may be easy to bridge that gap in terms of even the technology that these private entities have acquired, and in terms of the research capabilities that they hold. Then the youth can be enlightened more in terms of farming without requiring huge tracts of land, and just to use the technology that's available to them to conduct agriculture.
And just going more into a personal level, as you're entering, because now you're at that stage where you're about to enter the industry and become a policy maker, and as a farmer yourself, what are some of the initiatives that you are going to take or you hope to take as you enter the industry?
Personally, and from my farming experience, for the lucky of us who've been able to get a little piece of land to conduct our farming, you invest so much into farming, and it's with regards to financial investments, your time, and also the whole process. It needs your presence there. And now what comes out of your farm, you might get the best produce that you can get, but now the market is also one of the biggest challenges for farmers, in that there is a disconnect between the farmer and the market, and the only way there can be a linkage between the two would be through the government policies. As it is now, most farmers rely on brokers to get into the market, and the brokers may come with unreasonable fees, or their prices might not be favorable to the farmer. In that you find whatever the farmer invests into their land, they can't get a return on the production cost that they incurred when investing. So the first aspect, or the first scope that I would focus on in terms of policy making, would be the market. I'd ensure that the farmer is in direct control of the market, in that the farmer determines the market price. Obviously it has to be reasonable also for the consumer to afford it, but at least at the end of the day the farmer makes a profit, and they can also invest back into farming, so that we make farming become a full-time economic activity for people in the country.
Thank you so much for providing your insights into the intersection of government and youth and agriculture. So just to recap, today we were taking a moment to delve into the world of government policies, engagement, and collaboration. So in the next episode, we will showcase youth-led initiatives and organizations that are intentionally bringing the youth together to address the issues of food security. So thank you so much for joining me. I was your host, Hazel Nyokabi, and with me
is Takokonya.
See you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.